Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Merry Christmas everybody, Happy New Year in arrears. We all are welcome back to another year of 2025. I'm so happy for this year. I went for a little short break and I've been out of content for all this while, so I'm back, my besties. So what do we have on our plate today? We have what they call Kondre. Kondre is an African dish mostly known by the Douala people in the western section of Cameroon. So for our ingredients here with me, I have some green spices. This is the main ingredients we'll be using for this Kondre. It's a type of porridge plantain where you use green spices as the main ingredient in here, and it also has some key ingredients. Then for my protein, I'll be using some dry fish, some fresh meat, and also some towel skin. And for my plantain, this is what I'll be using. You need unripe plantain for this recipe, and some red oil. And also I'll be using my seasoning cubes, some chopped onions. And for your chopped onions, it's optional. It's not everybody that must use chopped onions. I also have some Cameroon pepper, some red pepper. Of course, you know how hot this Cameroon pepper is. And also some spices which I don't even know what they are. So in this combination, I have some thyme and rosemary. I have some white pepper, some black pepper. I have what they call in Cameroon here matches for stick, on a stick for matches, something like that. If you're a Cameroonian, you will definitely understand. So guys, please, if you know the names of all of these spices, please just drop all the names in my comment section and I'll be so glad to learn. So I have some jangsa and also these spices here with me. I also don't know what this is called. I just went to the market and told them I want spices for Kondre, and they just gave me. And actually, when growing up, this is what I saw my mother using. I also have some onions, some garlic, and also some pepper soup spice, which I'll be using to season my meat before the cooking process. And I also have this spice here, which is one of the key ingredients to adding to the flavor, the aroma, and everything in my Kondre. So first things first, we add in our oil. After adding your oil, allow your oil to warm for at least 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. You allow your oil to warm. When it's then heated, you add in your chopped onions. You stir your chopped onions well, and just allow your chopped onions to cook for about 1 minute. When this is done frying, add in your meat. And for my meat, this is frozen. For this meat, whenever I keep my meat in the fridge, I make sure I marinate my meat. I spice my meat very well. So for this meat, it already had Maggi and salt, enough Maggi and salt in it, so I did not want to bother adding too much Maggi or salt into it. So I'm using towel and meat because this is my meat of choice. You can also use dry meat. So I went in with some seasoning cubes, I think 2, and also added some salt. You can add let's say 2/4 teaspoon of salt. Then I went in with my pepper soup spices, added a bowl of water, and I also added my Cameroon peppers. These peppers are really hot, so you have to be careful the way you add your pepper. And I covered my pot and I just allowed this to boil. I allow my meat to cook. And you also don't need to overcook your meat, because in the process of cooking your plantain, when you add in all your spices, your meat will also be cooking. So I just cooked my meat for at most 10 minutes, and by this time the meat was just halfway done. It was not fully ready. So I switched off my gas and I went to prepare my things for my plantain. So I started by blending my green spices. I had to blend everything. I blended my green spices. Then for my jansa, I smashed my jansa on my stone before adding it here, because if you just add it like that with all those nuts, it will not blend very well. So I went in with my garlic, my onion, and my Cameroon pepper. I added some water and I blend this. I made sure this was blended properly, because you do not want to see pieces of ingredients in your pot. Then the next thing, I went into frying my spices. The reason why I did this was because I wanted that when I'm grinding these spices, it made easy for me to grind them. So I'll fry this for almost 1 minute, and this was good to go. Try this, guys. Always heat up or fry your spices easy. And also for my strong spices, the nut spices, I also did the same thing, and they were very easy to grind using my hand stone or my pepper stone, they were so easy to grind. So I fried this also for almost 3 minutes. Here with me on my left hand, I have my soft spices, and on my right hand I have those nut spices that were very strong and could not easily be grind. So this is how it looked like. It was so easy and effortless. So the next thing, I added my plantain. To be honest, this is my first time trying this recipe, and in this recipe both of us will be learning. You'll be teaching me and I'll be teaching you. So the next thing was I added my green spices mixture, and I made sure I removed everything from this blender. And secondly, I went in with my seasoning cubes. I added about 2 seasoning cubes. That's 1 Maggi crevette and 1 red Maggi. So I added these seasoning cubes because I don't, I'm not so much of a spicy kind of person, or somebody who likes too much Maggi or salt. So I always minimize the way I use my seasoning cubes. So I went in first with my ground ingredients. So I added them. Then I added some salt. You don't need to pour your salt like this. Let me just say you can use about 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I added some water into my blender. I made sure I rinse everything in the blender and pour it in the pot. So after adding this, I added some more water again to the level I wanted, because that was the water I'll be using to cook, or that was the water that will be used to cook this plantain. This plantain was so strong. In Cameroon, there's another species of plantain they call ebanga, something like that. I don't know if you know about ebanga, but for my Cameroonians, you know what I mean by ebanga. This is ebanga, and it was really, really strong. It was so strong. Then I added my fish and stirred very well, and I added more water again. I allowed this to just cook. I allowed this to cook for at least 30 minutes. It means at some point in time this almost cooked like for an hour, because the plantain was really strong, and I don't like strong plantain. I'm not a fan of strong plantain. I like when my plantain is soft and easy to swallow and easy to be chewed. So I just allowed this to cook very well. I checked my pot, see if everything was ready, if the Maggi and the salt was tasting, and every other thing. Okay guys, after cooking this for an hour, at this point in time my plantain was ready, everything was ready, the spices and everything, they were all ready. So I just switched off my gas and covered my pot and allowed this to cool off while I clean my working surface and every other thing I used at this food. Would you not be trying this? Look how amazing this looks like. This is so good. His Abasi once said that you cannot see how a food is really nice by looking at it, unless you try the recipe and you try to see if you can come out with the same, or you replicate something like what you saw. So I'll urge you guys all to try this recipe and leave all your comments in my comment section. So guys, if you find this video interesting and you would love to see more of my videos, please hit on the subscribe button, like my videos, turn on the notification bell for more updates, and do not forget to share my link so that others can see my amazing food recipes. Thank you guys. Bye. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.